basically just looking good is not enough. That's like the icing on the cake, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You should know what the hell you're talking about, and then if you look good on top of that, then you've got the complete package there.
We are about to launch.
Truth, not trends.
What's up, everybody? Truth, not trends. TNT strength in the house. Changing the world one set at a time. Train outside the box. Oh, we are back.
This is Jesse Schmidt and Liam Bauer.
That's right. We are the podcast that helps you maximize your strength as safely
and efficiently
as possible.
My name is Jesse Schmidt. I've been a strength coach for 2,489 days.
Apparently only
66 days away.
60 days away from the 3,000 mark? Is that what it is?
From the 7-year mark.
From the 7-year mark. Holy moly.
511 days to 3,000.
Man, it's killing me.
I know.
All right. My name is Liam Bauer. I've been a strength coach for 36 years. And counting. I didn't even know that I would still be a strength coach 30 years ago. Looking forwards, I can remember watching other guys going, I won't be a strength coach when I'm in my 60s. I was wrong. I'm still here. I'm still going.
It's been a wild ride.
It has been. Like Mr. Toad's wild ride, in fact.
Filled with twists and turns and
tiny people spinning. I'm not sure what any of that means.
Sometimes that got a little crazy. Well, hey, today we got a solo round. We're going to talk about how to find the right personal trainer or fitness situation for you.
This is part one of a miniature 2-part series. How to get started. Getting it started.
How hot should your personal trainer be?
That's right. Do they need to be wearing Lululemon at all times?
Minimum of a 6-pack, obviously, but preferably an 8, 10, or 12-pack.
I've never had a 12-pack.
There is no beach season for your personal trainer. It's all one long beach season.
That's right. They should look hungry at all times.
They could step on stage in a bodybuilding contest at a moment's notice.
That's right. And
they've never eaten a potato chip in their life.
They should definitely be eschewing all carbs at all times.
They only have pizza in Italy.
Right. After the contest.
After the contest. No, we're going to give you the real criteria for picking a great personal trainer inside of this episode. So stay tuned for that. And before we get there, we want to remind you to go check out tntstrength.com to look at our wonderful supplements that we offer there. Of course, at TNT Strength, we recommend a high protein, whole food diet.
That's true.
But if you know you have some gaps, you could try out one of these 5 supplements that we sell. What are they, TAKU?
We have, of course, the always recommended creatine monohydrate for that mind-muscle connection, helping you get strong, stay strong, cognitive boosts, all kinds of good things. Some fish oil, which has been shown to be quite beneficial. Omega-3s, always a good choice to be helping you round out your nutrition plan. Of course, a little whey protein. We know we want that protein. Sometimes you just don't want to eat another chicken breast. A little quick shake can round it up quickly. You don't make sure you get those numbers every day. And little K2D3. We know that vitamin D3 is fantastic for your immunities, among other things. And probiotics, gut health is quite a focus these days. The mind-gut, body-gut connection. Get those probiotics. Make that happy gut flora and fauna flourish.
There's a great alliteration in there.
Hey, I have my moments.
Yum.
Alliteration aside, I think I'll take my chances in the tournament.
So check them out, tntstrength.com, free shipping anywhere in the continental United States. And
right. If you're in Uzbekistan, we apologize.
Kick back with your protein shake and enjoy this solo round of the TNT podcast.
Boom.
Boom, baby.
All right, here we are, live in the studio, TNT Strength. Yes, we're here. We're back. It's 2024, people. That means even though his days may not add up to 3,000 yet, Jesse's been a trainer a little bit longer, and me too.
I only have 66 days to go to reach my 7-year trainiversary.
Oh my God, 66 days away. I'm like, I'm anxiously waiting so we can drop the balloons, disco ball, confetti.
Pretty crazy.
T-shirt cannon.
So it's an appropriate time, since 7 years ago I was getting my start. It's an appropriate time to talk to these people about who are trying to get their start with their workouts.
Indeed.
So I mean, there's a couple ways to go. If you're not working out currently and you're trying to start working out, we think the best way to go is to hire a coach and learn how to do it right.
That is true.
But there's also a million coaches out there. So how do you pick one, Mr. Coming up close to 40 years in the industry in a couple of years?
That is a good question. I think, the standard stuff you always hear people talking about is like, make sure they have a certification, things like that. And honestly, there's a million coaches out there. There's a lot of different certifications out there these days. And the certification is not really much of an indication of someone's experience. Literally you could go get one in a few days. And that could be your entire knowledge of personal training or strength training or conditioning or whatever you want to call it. Is that maybe you were, an accountant and you suddenly decided you want to get in the fitness business and you bought some books and took some courses. And next thing you know, you're like, I am a certified personal trainer. And I've been doing this for 7 days.
Yep.
And basically all you know is whatever you've gleaned from whatever certification system you chose to buy into. These days, it's more than likely the NASM. They seem to always have the big chunk of the pie. But so that's not necessarily the most important part.
But there is some importance there. I mean, you don't probably want to train with somebody who doesn't have any certification.
Yeah.
Although we know some very smart people who I don't know what their certifications are at all, but I highly doubt that any of them have zero certifications.
Yeah, I mean,
you want to see something.
In my career, I have known some guys who, just had been in the iron game, for lack of a better term, for years, and were some of the most knowledgeable guys I've ever met. They were bodybuilders or whatever, and they just had acquired a lot of information that was valid and reliable, regardless. But yeah, that would be just luck if you happened into one of these guys. You certainly can't base it on appearances. That's a good thing to think about. It's not just looking for who looks the best in your gym.
We just got an application that we're trying to hire over here at TNT. We got an application from a guy who actually attached a picture of himself along with his resume, which is not really appropriate. But in the fitness industry, he's pretty jacked. He's pretty jacked. He's got biceps that look like they're about the size of my thighs, and he's got a waist like a broomstick.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like kind of like, classic like military.
He's like Brian Buchanan.
He looks like Guile from Street Fighter. But awesome. He doesn't have any certification. He doesn't I mean, he has trained people, but basically just looking good is not enough. That's like the icing on the cake, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You should know what the hell you're talking about, and then if you look good on top of that, then you've got the complete package there.
True. Most trainers do, walk their talk, for lack of a better term. Usually they're relatively fit, and that's good. If you're looking for general fitness, you want to ask the right questions, and and of course it also is personal, right? So you want to feel comfortable with this person. Don't be afraid to try out a few different people.
That's a key. That's the key. I mean, you need to have a personality fit. Like, if you're going to commit to working with a coach, then you're each going to see each other on good days and bad days. Sometimes those bad days coincide. Sometimes, probably most of the time, the good days coincide. But one or the other maybe having a tough day every once in a while, and you want to know that there's going to be mutual support there. And sometimes, like if you're working with a business like ours, like TNT, we train our clients as a team. So you want to feel good about the team because you're going to be training with multiple people inevitably.
Yeah, and that also may arise depending on where you look for your support. Some fitness studios or facilities build more of a sense of community than others. You need to look, those are the kind of things. Do you want the one-on-one, fully customized experience? Are you looking more for the group thing, the experience of, being part of a community and participating with others? That's another thing to think about. What's your personality? Do you like more structure? I think ultimately, I agree with Jesse that most people will learn the quickest and thrive and improve the most when it's more personalized and you're not in the group setting. Because generally, you may, like places like CrossFit studios and so forth, they do build a great sense of community, and often there's a lot of camaraderie and so forth. But there's often also not as much personalized attention, right? Because it's hard when you have a handful of coaches and there might be 10 or 20 or even sometimes 30 people participating.
Which ultimately means that you may not be learning the proper technique for certain things, or maybe it's fine, but it's a little sloppy, and when you have somebody right there one-on-one, they're really going to be able, and they know what they're doing, they're really going to be able to help you out.
So I think good questions,
keep you safe.
Yeah, good questions to ask is like, number one is, how do they measure progress? Like, how when you come in, you want to see, especially if you have very specific results that you're after. Most people are looking at body composition change, which means losing some body fat, gaining some muscle, feeling stronger. Maybe it's bone density improvements, maybe it's improving your balance. There's all kinds of things that people often are thinking about, but then the biggest, most common things are losing body fat and gaining some muscle. And you want to know, how are they going to measure this? How are they going to show you that they're making progress? Do they have a way to do so? And is it
besides just telling you you're doing great?
Yeah, exactly. Is it something structured? Are they tracking things? Are they measuring when they on the first day? Do they have a way to revisit this and show you this continued progress? So that's a good thing to be thinking about and asking. You can come in there saying like, how do you guys show me that I'm actually making progress from week to week, month to month? How is that done? And they may or may not have an answer for you. They should be, if it's body composition, they should be looking at your weight. They should be taking some measurements, perhaps, and with the strength training right there, they should be tracking everything that you're doing meticulously. They should be keeping records. They should be having a way to show there's progression. It's not just freestyle. There's some trainers that literally just move you around for 30 or 40 or 50 minutes, depending on the structure. And you're huffing and puffing and you feel like you had a workout, and it's different, and they're energetic and enthusiastic, but they don't even write anything down.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like overly simplistic, but what we're talking about is we're TNT strength, right? And we're focused on helping people build strength and demonstrate more strength in each workout than they did in the last one. If your goal in your workouts is just to move around, then just do whatever and just move your body for an hour or 30 minutes or however long you have. But if your goal is to increase your strength, it should be measurable, and you should be tracking that on a regular basis. And so there are quantifiable variables there, and there are qualitative variables there. So if you're talking about changing your body composition with body fat and muscle, I mean, you need to be able to quantify. Okay, I'm using an in-body scale or a DEXA scan or bod pod or whatever it might be.
Even skin fold calipers.
Something. Yeah, I mean, tape measure, right?
Yeah.
And any of those are a form of measuring that body composition change. And then the qualitative stuff is important too. How are you feeling? Are you feeling more energetic? Are you moving better? All that stuff is important too. So it's not one or the other. They're both important. We pay particular attention to the measurable stuff here at TNT. Because frankly, I mean, you should be aware of this if you're looking for a coach or a workout environment. Hardly anybody's tracking stuff on average. I mean, we do at TNT. Many of the guests we've had on our podcasts over the years also track meticulously, because the people we have on are the best of the best, and that's fundamental that the best of the best follow. And so if you walk into a gym and you look at the personal training staff, and none of them has a clipboard or a tablet or an Excel spreadsheet or whatever, they're not tracking anything, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
They should be tracking.
We had a client come in just yesterday who has not been with us that long. I could look it up and figure it out, but he is 65 years old, and we use an in-body scale which measures body muscle mass and all that sort of thing. And he already has added 5 pounds of muscle. He's 65 years old, and
Nice.
he's training 2 times a week for 30 minutes. So, we have, easy proof that he's getting stronger too by the numbers, obviously, but he's getting the actual physiological, morphological changes that we want to see and supported right there with the data. So his body fat has gone down, his muscle mass has gone up, all those things we love to see. And again, he's 65 years old, and this is all he's doing. 2 full body strength training sessions a week for 30 minutes each, and he just goes out and lives his life. He's a retired guy. No other form of exercise, as far as I know. I mean, he's active
in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, that's literally the kind of stuff you want to see, and they should be able to do that for you, whatever these coaches are.
Hey, what are those guys doing here?
Whenever I feel like I'm stalling out on my bench press, I know I need a new strength curve.
Whether you're stalling out on the road or stalling out in the gym, you need something with great engineering.
That's right. And
So look for the pendulum. Pendulum.
Not just your average strength machines.
No, they have smooth strength curves.
Amazing rigidity.
And did we mention the engineering's fantastic?
That's right. Not to mention, they come in cool colors.
Like red.
And silver. Well, that was kind of weird. What was that all about? Back to the interview.
I think you mentioned something that you sort of glossed over earlier. Is you said asking good questions. If you're let's say you're sort of you should be approaching like personal trainers as if you're interviewing them to train you, right? And one of the things Liam, you mentioned that certifications are not necessarily the most important thing, although there's something to talk about. I think more important than any number of certifications a person has or a specific certification somebody has is what can they show you that proves that they're constantly learning, that it's just like a state of being for them. At TNT, one of our core values is Kaizen, that's what it means, is just continuous learning. And so that's something, our personal trainers here they have regular objectives to be meeting, whether it's a certification or a book they're reading and delivering a presentation on. They're constantly looking to learn, and so are we. And that's part of the mechanism of this podcast, is so we can constantly be learning from the best in the industry, and that keeps us in tip-top shape. Whether we're talking with a researcher, scientist, or another business owner, we're constantly trying to sort of pick up different techniques and stay up to date with the latest research and science. So what can your trainer show you that they are constantly? They might be listening to podcasts, or they might have their own podcast, or they might be reading books, but they shouldn't have just done the one booty blaster certificate over the weekend and then said, oh well, I have big biceps, so I know what I'm doing. Just listen to what I'm saying. Like, science is the application of a hypothesis to a large group of people, right? To show that it's not, whatever is being tested isn't happening just in a vacuum. It holds true across a large population. And so, these people, the sort of like trope of the like young, hot airhead trainer, we need to do away with that. And we need to be trying to support people who are staying up to date with science and keeping people safe when they're training, and also working hard. And there's a couple other things, right? Yeah. You should never be getting hurt in your strength training. That's a huge condition.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind that they should be able to meet you where you are. It's important that you do over time feel like you're being challenged in a good way, structured and incrementally. But unless your specific goal is, to learn a very, very specific tool or modality, like I want to learn how to become an Olympic weightlifter, I want to learn how to do powerlifting, I want to master kettlebells. If you're just looking to get in shape, the trainers should not be trying to sell you on one modality, like, oh, well, if you want to get in shape, you have to do kettlebells, or you have to do Olympic weightlifting, or you have to become a powerlifter. Like, if you're not squatting and deadlifting, then you might as well not be in the gym. If those kind of things you're encountering, those are also red flags, right? They should be able to work with any tool in any situation. They should be able to work around any specific challenges or injuries or structural issues that you may have in the moment. They should have an answer for these things or a way to assist you in working with them or around them. So again, if you find them trying to stuff you into a certain box.
Yeah. So technical expertise is also very important, and proficiency with different tools. I think something tangent to that also is the language that people use around training. So if you ask a question of this fitness professional and they always have an answer, but they don't really back it up well, that's a flag, right? Like we know that, I mean, when you ask a scientist a question that they don't know the answer to, they use qualifying language, right? They say, well, I would guess that the answer would be this, but I'm actually not sure. I'm going to see if I can find a study to back that up, or I'm going to talk with somebody who's more qualified to answer that question, and I'm going to get back to you, right? So one thing I think you see with amateur fitness professionals is that they just, frankly, just make shit up. They do. I mean, that's not appropriate.
Even some of the quote unquote professional fitness professionals, want to be scientists and so forth. They seem to be making stuff up sometimes, but yeah.
And so some research is more is stronger than others, and when you're looking at a meta study, which is a look at a larger group of studies, that that's how you really start to build strong evidence that proves a scientific hypothesis. The weakest form of bro science is saying, well, this is what I do, so you should do it too.
Yeah.
That's, if you're saying this is what I do, and this is what Dr. Wayne Westcott, Dr. James Fisher, Dr. Brad Schoenfeld, right? These top level strength training scientists, researchers also recommend, that's a different story. But if you're just saying, well, my biceps are big, so do what I do, that to me doesn't have a strong enough backing.
Yeah, good point. You want to again feel like they do have answers to the questions, or they, as Jesse mentioned, they respond. Even if they don't have an answer, they have a network or a way they feel like they can find those answers for you. That's almost a better sign to me if they go, that's a great question, and I know who to ask about it, versus just sounding like they're just making stuff up. Definitely you don't want to feel like they're trying to force you towards a specific type of tool. You want to make sure they have your safety in mind, right? Technique is important. Being safe always should be number one. You should never be feeling like you're in danger, and definitely, you should never get injured when you're working with a strength coach. When you work as a high-level strength coach with professional athletes, I mean, if you are injuring these athletes in the gym, you're not going to keep your job for very long, because your whole point is to make them injury resistant and help add to longevity in their careers, not to be hurting people in the gym. So that will be a big mistake. You got $1 million guys, you can't be hurting them in the gym. And you are just as important as any $1 million athlete. So you need to treat yourself that way, and
treat yourself.
Be expected to be taken care of, right? This is important.
I think that pretty much sums things up there. Be safe, ask good questions, get good answers, work hard.
You could be looking for examples too. Can they show you examples of other people that they've been successful?
That's a great one there. Yeah. Testimonials, referrals.
Yeah. Before and after stories that they can actually show you, real clients, real data, real people. Yeah. If they have people you can talk to, and you can say, hey, they can refer you out to satisfied customers, right? That they've produced results with. They can show a consistent track record of that sort of thing. So yeah, I think those are good things. People that are in your demographic. We have our target audience over here at TNT is, really, although we can work with all ages and abilities, and we do, we really work with, probably 50 plus, I would say, is our target. And we have our oldest client right now is 90 years old, and he started his strength training career with us at 89, having never worked out his entire life. And, that was very bold of him. And, but he's, here he is, I don't know if it's been a year yet, but I mean,
probably getting close.
He came in and, was 90 years old, never worked out. He was 89. And I think he did 120 pounds on the leg press that first day. And the last time I saw him, he did 270 pounds for, over 30 repetitions. So pretty awesome to see that kind of progress. And you should feel like they can work with you specifically. Like, are you someone that they are regularly dealing with? You don't see that they're all a bunch of other athletes or bodybuilders and you're the only over 40 person in their entire quiver of their stable of clients. But yeah, that's important stuff. Did we want to talk about other, as far as like how to get started if you're not working with a trainer? Or
I think maybe we cap this one here.
Boom, baby! What's up, people? Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Truth Not Trends. That's right here at TNT Strength Headquarters, Truth Not Trends.
Please, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, rate, and review us on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And don't forget to share with a friend.
You can find us on the web at tntstrength.com.
That's right, TNT Strength now coming to you in person at 5255 College Avenue in Oakland, California. You can call the studio 510-768-5421. You can also text us at 855-796-9905.
Or shoot us an email at contact@tntstrength.com. And whatever you do, stay off of that stupid blue bubbly bosun.
That's the end of episode 1, and then we
Short
can
and
just
sweet.
and then we can just go say something like, "Welcome to part 2 of how to start your fitness journey."
how to start your fitness journey.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.
Welcome to Sneaking in the Movies. My name is Speed, and this is my homeboy Tyrone, and we are like movie critics and shit.
And now, to recap the movies we saw. We both gave thumbs down to that classical shit, Amadeus Meets Hilarious. We disagreed on Chicago Jones. I gave it a thumbs down, but he liked it, that bullshit.
Dirty Larry, we both gave Dirty Larry the finger.
The last movie we really enjoyed, we gave it the serious high five. And that recaps all the movies we saw.